Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the Managing Director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. In this video today, we're going to do a further update with respect to passport revocation for tax delinquency, or specifically how tax delinquency could impact an American citizen's passport. This is especially even the case with American citizens abroad, outside the United States. As has previously been discussed in I think 2 prior videos on this channel, the U.S. Congress, the U.S. government, I should say, created legislation which allowed for the revocation of U.S. passports under circumstances where the passport holder was delinquent in terms of their U.S. tax obligations. Specifically, this delinquency needed to be over 50,000 Thai baht, excuse me, not Thai baht, 50,000 US dollars, 50,000 or more in delinquency, penalties, fines payable to the Internal Revenue Service. But what I want to specifically talk about in this video is legislation was initially passed. Early last year, we did a video discussing this and basically said, look, it's looking like they're going to start certifying these. They said, or there at least were some indications at the time that that was going to happen. Up until now, January 2018, it apparently did not happen, but now they are doing it. So now what has to happen, what needs to occur is Internal Revenue Service, IRS, needs to certify to the Department of State that an individual American citizen or lawful permanent resident, although this doesn't really pertain to lawful permanent residents because they can't have a U.S. passport, but basically the IRS can certify to the Department of State that an individual American citizen is in arrears in their obligation to pay U.S. income taxes. And once that certification occurs, it is then possible for, or it's very likely, that the Department of State will go ahead and cancel that individual's passport. How this cancellation will operate as a practical matter remains to be seen. In my experience in the past in dealing with passport revocation in connection with delinquent child support, it usually only occurs when the individual who's delinquent in their support obligations travels to the U.S. Embassy in order to do something like passport renewal or obtain some kind of certified documentation. At that time, their passport is seized, and they're told by the officer that they need to, they can either be given a travel letter specifically for the purpose of returning to the United States, or they can try to settle the matter with the specific authority concerned, get their situation in order and have their passport reissued. The IRS, through irs.gov website, has recently issued some notices, notice CP 508R, reversal of certification. And what they mean by reversal of certification is rescinding the certification from IRS to Department of State. Specifically, this type of certification kicks off the mechanism which causes passport revocation. So how do you unwind it is basically what this discusses. The IRS will reverse the certification when the tax debt is fully satisfied or becomes legally unenforceable. The tax debt is no longer seriously delinquent. The certification is erroneous. Well, they'll sort of speak for themselves. The IRS will make this reversal within 30 days and provide notification to the State Department as soon as practicable or practicable. So this isn't an immediate thing. It's not like, you know, you pay off whatever was due and owing, or you pay it down low enough, or you prove it was erroneous, or it becomes legally unenforceable. No, it's going to take another month for a passport to be issued, at the very least, because that's just the decertification process. A previously certified debt is no longer seriously delinquent when you and the IRS enter into an installment agreement allowing you to pay the debt over time. The IRS accepts an offer in compromise to satisfy the debt. The Justice Department enters into a settlement agreement to satisfy the debt. Collection is suspended because you request innocent spouse relief under IRC Section 6015. You make a timely request for a collection of due process hearing in connection with a levy to collect the debt. So those are some of the circumstances under which they can decertify this. And finally, and this is all quoting directly from irs.gov, the IRS will not reverse certification where a taxpayer requests a collection due process hearing or innocent spouse relief on a debt that is not the basis of the certification. Also, the IRS will not reverse the certification because the taxpayer pays the debt below $50,000. That is interesting to me, because I originally thought when I first heard this, that last part about the $50,000, when I first heard about this law coming into effect, I said, well, okay, there may be a business situation wherein, somebody ended up in a situation where they owed, more than $50,000. But let's say they pay 10 of it. They've got 10 cash, they pay it, they get it down below 50, now please decertify it. It appears IRS is not going to be doing that. So the thing to take away from this video more than anything, other than what I've just gone through specifically, the final thing to take away from this video is be very, very aware of this $50,000 rule. The reason to be aware of it is due to the fact that in the event that this mechanism is triggered, simply paying down below the threshold is not going to be enough. Further steps are going to have to be taken, either satisfying it fully, entering into, as they noted, an offer in compromise, somehow figuring out a way to make the claim legally unenforceable, or to find that the certification was erroneous. Again, innocent spouse relief, possibly, if there truly is grounds for that. So the thing to take away from this is triggering this mechanism. It's a tough bell to unring. In fact, I would argue it's impossible to unring it. Once that $50,000 is triggered and it's certified by IRS, it's not going to be possible to just pay $1 below it and get rid of the certification. No, you have to take further steps to deal with this, and those further steps probably, I would assume, could result in some significant hardship, some substantial effort and resource expense, just in general, not something most folks want to go through. So taking care of these issues before that occurs is probably the most prudent course of action.